Second.
Okay.
All right, we are live. It's 10:01 a.m. I'll open the special Board of Commissioners meeting for Fire District 21. Call to order and roll call. I'm Bruce Ansell.
Rich Bossman.
Todd Fisher.
Kimberly McMurray.
Jason Madison.
Jason's here. John Crawford is out of state, out of town. So he is excused. And we have special guests today, Chris Fawcett, Kathy Berg, Scott Brown, and of course, Chief Ward is here as well. Thank you. He's taken over my old office there. All right, so we're here hopefully briefly to talk about the finalization of our levy lid lift proposal. And I guess just to start off, I just want to update the board on levy lid lift issues. There was some concern obviously of where we were lining up with District 4, and yesterday at their special meeting they rescinded their previous resolution and adopted a new one that lines up more consistently with what we're doing. $1.45 going to zero out their EMS levy and drop the multiplier, and actually as a show of good faith run a 1-year levy lid lift to give us assurance that they are ready, willing, and able to move forward with the RFA process again and renegotiate an interlocal agreement for service for that 2022 year. So everything has been super encouraging. I applaud new board chair Mark Land for his leadership, and I'm just hoping that we can get a good positive message out to both fire districts and move forward on this levy lid lift proposal. So with that said, I think basically we have some documents that were in our packet. We have the resolution, which was already passed. If you haven't checked or seen it on our website, there is a levy lid lift information page that's been posted. And Kathy, you're here. So I sent you an email. Sorry, it was kind of late last night. I had drafted that and then walked out of the room and didn't send it. But it basically gives you the information where you can go to the county to get the form that you will need in our upcoming discussion here, as well as the levy lid lift tab has those facts and information that I told you we would be working on. So, and Scott, that's information for you too as well. So Chris is, I guess I'm gonna go to you, Jason, unless you want to say something first, but I know you're kind of here to keep us apprised and on track, and maybe you can just hum a few bars about where we are, and hopefully we're not missing anything right now.
Sure, Chief, do you want me to just jump in?
Sure, go ahead.
Great. So hi, everybody. I think I've met most of you, but I'm Chris Fawcett, and we're supporting your communications team regarding the public education around the levy lid lift. It's really positive to hear that District 4 is much more aligned, and we're going to update the webpage to kind of reflect some of those messages about looking forward toward the RFA as well. The information that was up there prior was before their alignment. The web page that is up right now is really kind of just the basic story. But we are working on an FAQ that we're planning to put up next week. So we'll continue to build that webpage out with more and more information. And it'd be really helpful to hear from all of you questions that you might be receiving from folks, so that if there is some consistency or we're hearing a lot of the same thing, we'll want to address it directly. In addition to that, we want to get the basic information up. We are also developing some other basic materials that are consistent with the facts that are on the webpage, and kind of information card that the commissioners can have, the firefighters can have, that gives the basic information and drives people to the website for more. Reminder that you as a public agency, public entity, can educate but not advocate about this. So all of the materials are running through Richard just to make sure that we're not doing any of that. We're real careful about it, but we can tell the facts about it. So we'll have some other basic materials, a PowerPoint deck for going either virtually, or if there are in-person opportunities, safe in-person opportunities for the chief to provide information. So we're kind of in the works of preparing all that. The district also has a newsletter, a monthly newsletter that goes out essentially the first of the month. And so that will be a good opportunity to also provide information and essentially kind of launch the effort, the education effort. You guys are also allowed under the PDC to do one district-wide mailer, which we'll begin preparing, but you'll want that to hit when the ballots hit, so that it's timed kind of around the same time that people are getting their ballots. So we're in the early stages of preparing some of the information, but we'll have a lot of that ready, I think, by next week, since you're on a pretty tight timeline. Really would love to hear from all of you about opportunities that you know are existing in the community for us to share information. Oh, Kathy is raising her hand. I love it. Kathy.
I don't know if you know what I do. I have a very large email group that I send to all the time. And would you keep me in the loop of what you're doing, so I can understand what your strategy is and how I can help you, and get a hold of you if there's something comes up that I have questions about? So
Absolutely. And your reputation precedes you. I've heard all about you.
okay. Well, let's work on this together, okay?
Yeah, no, those kinds of existing networks where we can provide the factual information about the ballot measure and you can hit send are greatly appreciated. Of course, entities outside of the district can advocate either for or against, but we can share facts about the measure, so that, because we want people to understand so that they're able to make a decision, come primary day.
Right.
So absolutely. So Kathy, maybe it sounds like you've got this large email, but you also sound like a good resource of information for potentially other ways to share information. And others on the call, commissioners, if there are chambers or homeowner associations or church venues, places where people generally get information, then we can ask them to share facts about it, and get the word out, and then always driving people to the webpage for more, or to reach out if they have questions. So we're trying to pull together, for lack of a better term, especially during COVID, a speakers bureau. Generally we would try and get on the agendas of these groups that are meeting and give them a short presentation and be there to answer any questions. Some of them are still during virtual meetings, so we'll do that as best as possible. And the goal here is to really just try and be a resource for information and push it out there so people have facts.
I'm working with Dora Lee, and she's the she's the mouth of the Chamber of Commerce. And so that's another, and they have an email list that they send to on a weekly basis of what's going on with the chamber. So we need to talk to you need to talk to Dora Lee about I'm taking charge of the for and against thing because I have a hard time finding my words these days.
Mhm.
They exist, but I can't always get them right when I need them. Dora Lee doesn't have that problem yet. Though she's the same age as I am. It's not fair. But yeah, Dora Lee is a good mouthpiece. I'm better at doing it on online type stuff rather than trying to just go off the cuff. She can get all those details right away. So
That sounds great. Thank
that's
you.
where I'm at.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you. And we've developed a kind of timeline plan that we can plug in all these activities so we're keeping on track. And the chief and Heather and Karen and I are meeting on a regular basis just to kind of look ahead for opportunities. Again, not advocacy, but education. So we really want to just make sure that we're getting enough information out there so that your residents and businesses can make an educated decision on the ballot.
Yeah, they have I think a weekly or every other week online, doing this.
There's a
advertise.
chamber chat they do also.
Thank you. You got it.
Great.
So let's talk to keep Dorley in the loop and yeah, that'll work great.
That sounds great. Thank you so much. So that's kind of in a nutshell, but others, please also share information with the chief or myself. We can make sure that you have my email address and phone so that we don't miss opportunities to provide information.
Yeah.
Can we hit the Blaine City Council with our information? Do we have a venue avenue? I know that I used to go to their regular meetings when you could go in person. Can we set up something with them to let them know, since, I mean, City of Blaine, we are their fire department. So it would be nice to at least inform the city council what's going on here.
Yeah, you can absolutely give folks information, and then, they might post something on their website. We can give them some verbiage that again says like, this is coming to us on our August 3rd election. Here's our website. I don't know, Chief, you may have somebody, we can work through a staff person at the council to make sure that information.
That was right down.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, that's those are all, you want to think about those various types of groups, right? There may be, I don't know, a recreation group or something, just where there is some sort of gathering of folks, not necessarily in person, but a communications tool to reach memberships. We want to be as thorough as possible, again, to provide some information so people aren't surprised when they see this on their ballot and don't know about it.
Right. I mean, we need to reach out to the Simiamu Homeowners Association.
Yeah.
Especially if we're planning to add that aid car up in their neighborhood station, which I think would be a very welcome addition for that community.
Yeah.
There's of course I'm thinking locally here where I live, but we've got Kathy Berg, who's the mayor of Birch Bay. We've got Dora Lee, who is with the chamber for Birch Bay. We've got the village, Birch Bay Village here, which probably receives our services almost on a daily basis. We've got Simiamu, we've got Blaine Council. There's also the Blaine Senior Center, which we should probably reach out to them as well, because I'm sure, in fact, I've seen our rigs there doing blood pressure checks and also attending to people up there with emergencies. So it's I think there's some good pockets, concentrated pockets of voters that would be nice to get that message out to.
Yeah, those are great ideas. Those are perfect ideas. And if we can think across the whole district as well, that would be really helpful. And again, if we can tag on to existing channels, that's the easiest way to do it. Places where people go to get trusted information already, that's the easiest way to do it. And then of course you'll have your one mailer that you can, send across the whole district.
Right. And Kimberly, you and I had sort of exchanged information before. Now that we have that up on the website, does that give you the information you're looking for to reach out to your folks? Sorry, you're muted.
I know, I lost connection.
Yeah, sorry.
Technology's not my friend, always. Yes, I will go review that, and I have a long list of people to reach out to.
Oh, that's great. And Kimberly, again, we wanted to get something up on the site, so it's pretty, it's sort of the basic stuff. We're digging deeper with the FAQ, and again, that should be up probably by mid next week at the latest.
Perfect, great.
Yeah.
Thank
So,
you.
and if you have any other specific needs or get questions, please let us know.
Okay, thank you
And
so much.
Commissioner
Lauren.
Bossman and Commissioner McMurray especially, I wanted to reach out to you or let you guys know that if you can think of any groups on the east side, I know it's kind of a different, not demographic, but just the geography is different and communities are different. So if you guys have been stakeholders on the east side a lot longer, and if you know of groups that I can either virtually talk to or even small pockets of people that I could, if there's a neighborhood meeting or something like that, please let me know. I'll do what I can.
Okay,
And I know it's something to ask too, but if even you could just shoot us an email if you have done so, or if we should. We're trying to be somewhat structured about it and keep a list of who we've talked to and who we've reached out to. And then if you just know of a group but you don't want to reach out to them, let us know and we can certainly do it. Obviously, a more personal ask is better to provide information, but happy to do it too.
And again, as in our role as commissioners, we can't advocate for or against. So we just have to be careful with our message, sending out what the facts are if we are representing ourselves as a board commissioner.
Yeah. We'll send, working with Richard, just some kind of do's and don'ts, some easy do's and don'ts for you guys just to think about. Again, it's fairly simple in that when you have your commissioner hat on, you really can provide information, but you can't advocate either way for it.
I would really appreciate that.
Yeah, good. That'll come soon too, like in the next day.
So is there any action that we need to take at this point? I think part of today's meeting was to make sure that we're not missing our deadlines. We've got the 14th is the line in the sand for making sure that we're filed with the county for the ballot measure. I know you guys, sorry, last minute, I was talking to Mr. Davis yesterday and sent out that statement, and Chris, correct me or not, but did you and Richard pass that explanatory statement back and forth, and that's ready to go to the county as well?
Yeah, we provided, Richard is leading all of the education, or excuse me, the election tasks, for lack of a better term, and deadlines, but he is working to make sure we were able to provide some input into that explanatory statement. So I know the chief was going to check in and just make sure that we're not missing of those, because all the education won't be worth it if we don't meet the deadlines.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, all right. So there, good. Kathy, sorry.
Well, on that again, I talked to Dora Lee and I haven't had a chance to talk to Scott, but she and I agreed that I should chair the 4 committee. So if that, I know that's, that's on a line that you have to know and be ready to
Right.
fill in.
So, yes, that would be our sort of next, is there anything else on the levy lid lift that, hopefully that's not my message about unstable internet. Is there anything else on the levy lid lift that we need to address before we move on to the committees?
Nothing from my end.
No,
Okay, Chief, all right.
no.
So then we move on to the appointment of the pro and con committees. We'll probably start with the con committee because I have not heard of anyone coming forward opposing this, although, you know, maybe people aren't paying attention or they're just all in favor of it. But we have reached out, I think, in at least 3 of the ways that we are required by statute to do, and we have a form to fill out that says that we have done that, and we will forward that to the county. So as far as the pro committee, our good friend and long-term advocate Kathy Berg is with us today, and I would suggest that we appoint her as the chair of the pro committee. Scott Brown has also offered his services to assist with that. And then not to be listed in the voters pamphlet would be Dora Lee, and she
will sign. She'll help me write my portion, and it's her portion, and she will sign. I talked her into it this morning.
Oh, okay. So she's also involved with the library district formation and ballot measure that's going to be coming up. Very involved in the community, and so I'll let you guys sort that out. But as far as we're concerned, it's Kathy and Scott and Dora Lee if she so chooses to sign on. Otherwise, we need a maximum of 3, which we've met that. We've tried to reach out to some other individuals and haven't heard back. So I think we'll be fine going with that. So I think just making sure Scott and Kathy that all that information and actually fillable forms are on the county's website. If you go to that long http www. whatever, and even on that, I couldn't actually connect to the link. I had to type it in manually, but it sends you to the county and then gets you to those fillable forms and gives you the deadlines, which I believe is the 19th that statement has to be sent in. And I believe it's a fillable form. Once you get that typed out, you can hit send and it will go to the county, or do you have to physically deliver that? I'm not aware of that.
Well,
Chris,
that's
you know?
why I appointed myself chair, so I can learn all this stuff and be sure we get it done.
It's an attachment to it. You can attach it to an email and send it to elections at the county.
So I think between the 3 of you tech savvy people, we can make sure that we get that to them by the 19th. And then there's a rebuttal time frame as well. I assume that if you're on a pro committee and someone writes a con statement, that the pro committee would be notified, and then they have a certain period of time to rebut an opposing opinion. I doubt that we're going to see that, but we make sure that we stay on top of that to be able to respond if needed.
Yes, all those deadlines are included at the county auditor's or at the elections website. Commissioner Ansel, I didn't know, do you want to make a motion to appoint the pro committee since we have interested individuals?
Yes. Yes. So I would move to establish the pro committee with Kathy Berg as chair, Scott Brown as a participant, and Dorley Booth if she is ready, willing, and able. Otherwise, she can be a non-signing participant to help develop that message.
Second.
Any further discussion or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. So that pro committee is officially formed. If you need any help finding the information or whatever, please make sure you get a hold of our administrative team and or Chris or whoever, and do not miss those deadlines, please. So I think that's it. If I don't know that there's anything else that we need to address. So I'm excited that we're finally moving forward. I think all of the work that's been done up to this point, both in the RFA stuff as well as our financial analysis and our messaging team is moving along positively, and getting this message out is super important because it's what's going to get us to the next level that we've been trying to get to for a long time. So I'm super excited. So if anyone has anything else before we go, Rich, Kathy, did you have? Yep, of course.
My email address is kathyberg@comcast.net. If Scott and Chris would be in touch with me and let me get that into my system, that would be very much appreciated.
I will loop all of you into an email as there's been official action taken by the board. I'll email you to give you all each other contact information.
Very good, thank you.
Okay. Rich Bosman, any comments?
I've already heard one question, and I'm sure we will address it in the frequently asked FAQ part, is the difference between this and the EMS levy. That's something that needs clarification. And then the age-old question in the northeast part of the county is the difference between North Whatcom and Linden Fire. So the emphasis on the area we cover, and we are different and essential, but that was always a conflicting or confusing situation for taxpayers up here. That's it.
Great, thank you. Good suggestions.
Kimberly, anything on your end? Scott?
Nothing. Been very quiet on the home front here.
Well, that's a good thing. Scott Brown, do you have anything for us? I'm hoping that District 4's meeting yesterday was a relief for you and all. So
yeah, it was good. We are getting behind on board with supporting that levy, because then South Whatcom, District 21 and District 4 will all be going for the same. So it's going to be a lot easier to, endorse and advertise and communicate with the public when all three are doing the same rate. So things are looking promising. So thank you for all the work.
yeah, appreciate it. Chief Ward, anything from your end? Crickets. Again, well, so we're talking about sending out these little cards or whatever to the line people, and obviously, again, when they're on duty, they're not allowed to advocate for or against, but they can educate, and hopefully we'll have like a one sheet or postcard or business card or something that refers them to our website and our administration and our people. So, because, you know, they're the people out on the street, and I'm sure that from my past experience, people will ask questions when you're out there. And so we just probably be very important, Chris, that we be able to get that do's and don'ts message that the chief can send out to all personnel as we move forward in this process, and probably sooner than later now that we're filing with the county. So,
Yeah, for sure.
all right.
Yep.
Thank you everyone for your attendance today. Appreciate all your efforts, and we have another regular meeting coming up next week
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
on the
Next Thursday.
20th. So we'll see you all then. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you for your time, everyone.
Thank